Hi everyone, I'm a disgusting, scruffy filth baby here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of this new project from Wiki and Tony Seltzer, 14K Figaro. This is a brand new LP from New York rapper Wiki, teaming up with producer Tony Seltzer, who I am learning about through this album. Yeah, and this is not really a record I was anticipating, not just because I'm not familiar with Tony's work, but also because Wiki just came out with that Half God project that was produced by none other than Navy Blue just a few years ago. Sounds like you put a lot of effort into that record. A really career-defining project that I don't imagine most artists would come back from so quickly. And also, Wiki just dropped a record earlier this year, a crossover with a fellow East Coast rapper Mike, and wall-to-wall Alchemist production on that thing too, which I wasn't crazy about at the end of the day. However, I do hope some new listeners came Wiki's way as a result of it, because for a while now, I think he's been pretty criminally underrated, especially considering his lyrical ability, his lyrical focus, and his one-of-a-kind voice, his thick New York accent. And the guy's been putting in work for years at this point, going all the way back to his days as a part of the experimental hip-hop trio Rat King. Now he's putting out solo stuff. His transition into that at first was a little rough, but I feel like in recent years he's really found his footing, especially on this new album here. I'm kind of surprised. I actually might like it a little more than Half God in some respects. At the very least, it's on par. While I did like Navy Blue's production on that record a lot, I think Tony Seltzer is a bit more versatile, sometimes changing vibes sporadically multiple times within a single track. The guy proves how unhinged he is right on the opener, where you get some dreamy cloud rap keys, some spaced out Brooklyn drill type hi-hats, some skipping kicks, and this only lasts for but a moment before some ghostly vocal samples come in, additional percussion and effects building up under that. The end result is psychedelic and glitchy. Then there's another change deeper into the track as Wiki continues to steadily rap, and the mix switches over to these trap hi-hats touched up with chipmunked, sugar-coated vocal and synth samples. Sounds like something out of a damn hyperpop song. It's strange, it's out there, but somehow Wiki's flows and his bars, all in reference to his younger self and this triple Figaro chain that he used to wear tucked under his shirt. The picture that's being painted here ties the whole track up pretty nicely, even if it is a little all over the place. The instrumental versatility continues onto the track Turkish Gold, which has some laid-back southern hip-hop grooves, some dusty samples chopped up very finely throughout the entire beat, really little bits and pieces everywhere, and lyrically, revenge is what is on the menu. As Wiki thinks back to times he's been betrayed or even taken advantage of as he's tried to make his way in music, that one's pretty lyrically focused too. Meanwhile, we get some dreamy saxophones on Purity, which are cute as hell. It's kind of a song all about going out with your girl, spoiling her a bit, but within a budget, dressing your best, flexing a bit, but with Wiki knowing that his biggest flex is his talent as an artist, not so much his money. NUMB, however, kind of goes in the opposite direction, as it's very much about being irresponsible with money, not planning, not budgeting, spending it like a drug, and Wiki hitting a wall as a result of that and being afraid of his days essentially being over. But once he sets the stage for this on the track, he spends the rest of it really rapping like his life depends on it, because maybe it does. Relentlessly firing off these free associative bars, many of which are really clever. This is also one of a few tracks on here where we hear Wiki rapping from a super confident place, and it's refreshing to hear. After this, we move on to a very strong second half for the project. LILYPAD is a very cute portrait of his younger self, relating a lot of his growth and change to the evolution of a frog. That Ain't Pat is a very epic and self-affirming song where Wiki raps about himself kind of in the third person as if he's this lone wolf hip-hop superhero. He's kind of funny with it too on occasion with that outlandish Prince comparison. The song Bubba is a lot more low-key and tender, kind of reads like an apology to an older partner who ends up coming back around, and they reconnect in a very romantic and cute way. He also seems very appreciative of the impact this person has had on his life. The two seem to share something really deep. I just wish the track was maybe a smidge longer. Of course, Weed Song is all about Wiki being hooked on weed. He goes over his relationship and history with it, which is obviously complicated. He goes over the lows, the highs, and not only do I appreciate that, but also the cool beat switch after the first leg of the song too. Then there's the closer, New Religion, which is not necessarily the most topically focused track on the record. Wiki does deliver some very grand poetry about his lyrical abilities, his craft, then kind of raps his ass off to test his mettle for the next 4 minutes. It's not a bad grand finale, especially with the production being so ambitious. As far as weak points on this album go, I think most of the features are just kind of either don't measure up to Wiki all that well or don't add that much to the album. The exception to that being the Z Loopers cut here, which I thought was pretty amazing. Not only is his energy just off the charts weird still to this day, but at one point on the back end of the song, there's like this partial flip of a piece of music, or like the same sample that's used in 50 Cent's Candy Shop, and as a result it kind of becomes a really weird remix. There's a few sung lines from Wiki on the record that I thought were pretty weak, mostly because, you know, he's not as much a vocalist as he is just, you know, a lyricist. But those moments, those weak moments, were really kind of few and far between on the grander scope of this album, which I'm very much feeling a decent 8 on, because Wiki's really been on a streak as of late. Transition, have you given this album a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best, you're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like, please subscribe, and please don't cry. Hit the bell as well. Over here next to my head is another video you can check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, Wiki, forever.